Hey, it's your buddy Darklink here. Going to do a little bit of a more educational video. And a lot of people have probably seen Rubik's Cubes before and thought, wow, that person has way too much time on their hands. In reality, now keep in mind, I'm having an exception for speed cubers, people who have been doing it for a long time and have just found different methods of completing it at ridiculous speeds. But with the basic one, which if you buy a Rubik's Cube, for, like a legitimate Rubik's Cube, it will come with an instruction manual. It's a 7-step solution guide. But now, a lot of people have a hard time because of the way that they word the pictures. For example, as you can tell, the way that it shows your sides can be slightly confusing at first to get used to, because of how awkward it is. But to recompensate for that, I'm going to show you now, really quickly, I'm going to show you this is completely not set up so that way it'd be, oh, look at this, and then suddenly done. It's it's mixed up, and it's not set up in some way to where I'll do 3 moves and it's finished.
Do you want to learn about my jump cut jutsu?
Well, okay, so what you want to do is you want to take your cube, pick any side you want to start with. It will probably be easier on you if you pick the white side, since that's the side I'm going to start with. Now, to know which side is the colored side that you're wanting to choose, you look in the center cube. The center square is the color for that side of the cube. So for this one it would be blue, this one it would be orange, and so on. I'm going to pick white to start out with because it's something more comfortable for me. I believe in this it says yellow. I may be wrong. No, on this one it says to start off with green, but in reality you can use these steps on any color once you learn the pattern. So I'm going to start off with white. Now, having white in the center, the first thing we're going to want to do is to make a white cross on the top. So, but to find that, we need to find the corners that go with the correct color. Now you see I have this, which is the white part of it, but it's orange and it's on the red. So we want to adjust it until we have it on the correct color lining. So that way that is in the correct place. You want to do that with all of the colors. See right here, white, red, and it's along the same color pattern, so you want to bring it up to this. So that way you can start adding onto the cube. And you continue doing this until you find all the color patterns, and then you get them all in the centers. So you have that set up. You have your initial cross with all the middles correct. Now, you might want to mix it up and make sure, because this is fairly simple to figure out, but mix it up to make sure you can learn, okay, start like this. I'll pause right here. Well, you guys can pause right here and take a look, so that way you guys can work through this until you know you've got this step down. Okay, once you have that step done, what you want to do is you want to find your corners. Now to find the correct corner, you would want to find, okay, so for example, white center, obviously. So if we're going to go for this corner, we would need a white, orange, and green corner piece. Which, oddly enough, I didn't really notice, but it's already there. But now the problem is, you're going to want to fix that. Because it's not with the white facing up top with its own side. So what it is, down on the right face, actually hold on, let me think of a better way to explain it. Counterclockwise on the right, counterclockwise on the bottom, clockwise on the right, and clockwise on the bottom. Now to figure out if it's clockwise or counterclockwise when you make a turn, face that side of the cube. If it's clockwise, it's going to go the same way a clock would, like that. Counterclockwise is the reverse of that. But see, this is the wrong color on the cube because I think, yeah, because I moved it. But you want to keep doing that pattern until you get that corner. What you want to do, if it's not already up top, you find the corner that you want to move. For example, white, red, and green. So you would want the white, obviously, red, and green. You would want to move that there, and you would do the exact same pattern until eventually it'll line up the white, and it will put the white where you want it to go, which will allow a steady stream as long as you have it correct up top. Now you're going to want to continue doing this until you get all of your corners correct for that side. So it would be the exact same turn. And now keep in mind, if you actually bought a Rubik's Cube, you can look in the manual. If you're confused on anything that I'm saying, they'll help you explain it. But some people have like a hard time with pictures, especially because of the way that it shows it, and it might throw you off. So you can use this as a visual reference. But as I was saying, you want to find all your corners, get them to that point, and continue that turn. And then eventually, you'll have your top side done. Now I'm going to pause here so that way you guys can practice this and get used to it until you get your color scheme finished. Once you're ready, go ahead and continue on with the video. Okay. Next piece is, because we've already completed the white side and we've made sure that this is all color coordinated to it, all on its correct sidings, you want to fix the middle corners. Now to do this, you want to look at the cube like this, with these three faces. So for this one it would be red, green, and yellow. You always want to keep the yellow on top. You'll want to keep the yellow on top for the rest of the time that you're completing this cube. Well, if you started off with white. If you started off with any other color, you would want to look at the color you started with and go to the opposite side. You would want to keep your opposite side on top for the rest of the time. So if you started on green, if green is where you made your cross and if green is the color side that you've completed, then you want to flip over and you want to keep blue on top for the rest of the time that you're doing your cube. But what you want to do is you want to find a middle piece up top that's not a yellow. So right here we have orange and green. Now here we go. A great example of a common problem. Now they give multiple ways of doing this to where it will fix the cube, but honestly you only actually need one turning pattern in order to fix it if the side isn't correct. So since you have orange and green, you'll notice that orange is right here. The problem is whenever you have one where the color that is placed on top isn't the same color as the side here. Now if that's the case, which I don't have any casing for that, but I probably will by the time that I finish this part of the cube. This particular one that I'm going to do is red and blue because they're both here, with the red on the top at this point and also over here. So we'll be replacing this cube. Now what you want to do is you would want to twist the top clockwise, twist the right side clockwise, and then start twisting the top counterclockwise for the duration until you get to a certain point. You want to bring this side down counterclockwise on the right side facing you, twist the top counterclockwise once more, twist the front of it counterclockwise, twist the top clockwise, and then twist the face, the front, clockwise, which will fix that part of the cube. Once that's done, you want to continue on and do it with both sides. Now here's the exact thing I was talking about earlier. Orange is on top, and you have, oh my god, no it's not. My bad. Let's see if I can hopefully get an example of this. I hope I can. You know what, hold on, I'm going to do this so that way I can get an example of this without it messing it up. So I'm just speeding through it for the simple fact I'm intentionally trying to create this mistake, because apparently I'm lucking out, but you're most likely going to have this problem. Okay. Red is now on top, but since it's a red green, green and red is there, but if you do this, then it's backwards. And the method that I'm showing you, keep in mind there are multiple methods of doing it, I'm just showing you one of them. That can work, but it's completely different strategy. I personally I'm not familiar with it. I know what it is, but I'm not familiar doing it. Oh. But I'm not familiar doing it. So what you would want to do is you would still want to keep that particular middle piece set up to do it, and you would do the same method that I showed you. Top clockwise, the right side clockwise, this, and then you would want to twist the top counterclockwise, the right side counterclockwise, top counterclockwise once again, this side, the front, counterclockwise, so that way your whites will be back up and you can rejoin it, the top counterclockwise, no, the top clockwise, my mistake, and then the front clockwise to return it back to its center. Now as you'll notice, it'll be in there, it's the correct place, it's the correct piece, but the color scheme is reversed. If you have that problem, you just want to do that same method a couple of more times. And once you do it again, what will happen is, from this point of the cube, it will move it, instead of it being here like it was originally, it will be over here by the time you finish the pattern again, but it will be correct, which will allow you to fix it. So it's the exact same method I just showed you. I'm going to go through it again to be able to show you how I did it. I'm going to do it slowly so that way you'll see I'm not trying to trick you. It's honestly, it can be a bit trippy, but it's easy to learn if you have patience. And now now you'll notice the green is now where we would want it to go. And all you would have to do is the same method I just showed you in order to bring it back. And that will fix your color problem. So now that corner piece is correct. Now you want to do this with all of the pieces. Now keep in mind, if you already have one of the sides that you would need here, you do the exact same method like I showed you, and that will return this piece up top in one of the middle areas to work with it. But I'm going to pause the video here, and actually no, I'm going to go ahead and repair the rest of the cube to that point, and then I'll pause. So that's done with the exact same method that I just sped up with it. This one I'm going to have to do multiple times because the color pattern is incorrect. Okay, and now you have your centers complete, and the top and the outside is still color patterned. It's all correct to this point. I'm going to pause the video here before I continue. Okay, so now that you have this done, you're going to want to take a look at your top. Now me having the cross on top is complete luck. It really is. if you don't, what you want to do is, well, hold on, I'll mess it up just to show it first without altering my color pattern. So let's say you have something like this, or whatever it may be. That's going to mean that the yellow is all around the top layer somewhere. So what you would want to do is pick any particular side, and you would want to twist the front clockwise, the right side clockwise, and the top clockwise. Then the right side counterclockwise, the top side counterclockwise, and the front side counterclockwise. Now you're going to want to keep doing that method until... Oh, what am I doing wrong now? What is it? F R U R. Okay, that was unintentional, but now even though we have the corners, it's obviously still incorrect. Just disregard the corners for now, because you're not going to need those. Now remember, it's a front clockwise, right side clockwise, top clockwise, right side counterclockwise, top counterclockwise, front counterclockwise. And that will alter the top without disturbing any of the rest of your thing. I guess Kiwi wants to fly around. Kiwi is the name of the bird, by the way. But
You don't know my jump cut skills.
So now keep in mind, whenever I am asking you to pause, it's because it's going to take practice and remembering what you're doing with it. So it's going to take, practice, patience, and memory, of course. But whenever you've learned the past step, the movements for it, which if you've bought a Rubik's Cube, it will come with this if you're confused on anything that I'm telling you. They give instructions inside of this booklet on how to do it as well. And that's the exact thing I'm going by. But since you have your cross, and as I said before, ignore your corners, because those mean nothing at the moment, you would want to go through and you'll notice that the colors are off. Like with the other side, you had the corners, and you had the middle to make the cross line up with the correct color pattern. But these don't quite line up yet, with the exception of this one. Now, of course, it may not be blue for you. If you twist, you'll probably get it to line up with another color somewhere. Like right here, I'm getting it to line up with red. It doesn't really matter as long as one of them is lined up and that's the one that's your front. So what you would do is right clockwise, the top clockwise, right counterclockwise, top clockwise again, right clockwise, 2 clockwise turns on the top, and then the right counterclockwise. And if you've noticed, what it did, it left the red center lined, but it moved the other colors. So you would want to keep repeating this method until you have your correct color scheme on here. So for example, I have now lined up my colors by doing that one method. Now I'm going to pause here. You're going to want to practice this a little bit until you get used to it. Okay. So you're going to want to work with your corners now. Now your corners may be in the wrong place. For example, that's yellow, green, and orange. That is blue, red, and yellow. Not the corner we want, because it's not in the correct place on the cube. But now, if you've done it correctly, one of them may be in the correct place. For example, on this, particular go, orange, blue, yellow, orange, blue, yellow. That corner is in the correct placing. Now if it's not, you use this same method one time. Well, it could be more times than that, but you would want to use this method, this particular step, in order to check. And then it would move them around, and then you can check and see if it's done yet. Which, if it's set up correctly and you do this particular movement, it will adjust these corner pieces, and you should have one in the correct place. Now once you have that correct corner, you want that to be your front slide. So it would be my front piece. You would want to twist the top clockwise, the right side clockwise, top counterclockwise, left counterclockwise, top clockwise, right side counterclockwise, top counterclockwise, and right side, and left side clockwise. And now if you've noticed, it adjusted them. Now that corner is obviously still not correctly done. I'll show you how to fix that in a second. But now my corners are adjusted to where they need to be. For example, red, green, yellow, red, green, yellow. This one's fairly obviously already complete. This is the one that I started with and already showed you. And you can see blue, red, yellow, blue, red, yellow. I'm going to pause here, and once you're comfortable with this particular pattern, continue to the last step. Okay, last step is fairly simple. You simply keep this up top, pick one of the corners which you're going to want to be right here in the top right, and you're going to go right counterclockwise, bottom piece counterclockwise, right side clockwise, bottom side clockwise. And you're going to want to repeat this method until you fix that particular corner. Now keep in mind, it's going to mix up the bottom parts. Don't worry about that. If you do it correctly, it will fix itself. Once you have that corner completely done and you've carried out the full step, you don't want to just go down, wham, up, okay, it's fixed, let's continue. You want to continue, you want to do the entire step. Otherwise, it will mess up the cube. Once you have your corner correct, you want to turn your top. You can turn it whatever way you want. It doesn't really matter, as long as you place one of the messed up corners back in that top right square. And then you want to do that same turn until you fix that color. You continue until all the colors are fixed. And then from that point, it's just a simple turn. And you have a completed Rubik's Cube. This has been your buddy Darklink. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you learned how to do one. If you have any more requests, just message me the request, comment it on one of my videos. I don't care how you decide to inform me on something through the YouTube channel. Message it to me. It doesn't matter. Make a video response. I'm cool with whatever you want to use. And I'll be willing to give a try at whatever you're wanting me to give a try at. Until next time, later.